How are you guys doing today? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you. In fact, I appreciate you guys so much that when you reach out to me about things that are happening in your life, personal things, I want to be able to have a conversation with you. But some of you don't feel comfortable having a conversation with me on camera, and that's okay. And some of you don't feel comfortable enough to even have an audio call with me. That's okay too. What I decided I was going to do is one of you is going through some issues right now, and you've posed a hypothetical question to me, probably grounded in reality, and you wanted to get my take about it. And I'm totally okay with giving you my opinion, but I wanted to make sure that it was a dialogue that happened and not just me telling you what I think without weighing up both sides. So I've gone and programmed a character.ai model based on all the prompts and feedback that you gave me, and I'm going to have that discussion with the character.ai. I want to make sure that it knows what your stance is, how you feel, and then I'm going to have an interactive discussion with it. I hope that this gives you maybe some thoughts to think about, some logical progression in decision making, and to help you with the process. If this gets a little weird, you don't have to take any of the advice, but I think this is something that needs to be discussed because it's probably one of the most important decisions that you can make in your life, next to like choosing the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So we're going to have a call with character.ai and we're going to run through this. Hopefully you guys are ready. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get into it. Hey dude, how are you doing? I know that you've talked to me recently that you've thought about potentially dropping out of school when you only have 2 years left. Do you want to talk about that?
You're right. It's a tough call. On one hand, I've gained valuable knowledge and skills through self-study. Dropping out could mean focusing fully on this, leveraging the internet to the fullest. But then, I wonder if the college degree could open doors in the future that might be missed without it. Plus, it's the financial investment too. My folks have put in so much, leaving feels like letting down their trust. It's quite a dilemma, man.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a really hard choice to make. But if you don't mind, I'd like to talk through both of the options with you.
Absolutely, I'd appreciate that. Talking through both options sounds great. What do you think are the key things to weigh when considering dropping out or sticking with college?
I think we should weigh the pros and cons of what a future with or without a college degree will be. We should weigh the career impact or the potential career impact of dropping out. And I think that we should weigh the financial obligations that maybe people have made to help us along this journey.
That's a solid approach. Let's start with the career impact. Realistically, I believe that having a college degree can open up a lot of opportunities. It's like a standard that employers look for. Dropping out could restrict options a bit. Do you think experience and skills could balance out the lack of a degree?
I can give my own personal perspective. I did finish my college degree, but I did not go all the way through. I only have a 2-year college degree. I have found that not having a 4-year college degree has been a barrier, but only at the top of my career. It was never really a barrier at an entry or a mid-level. I think not having a college degree at all, not having that 2-year degree, might have been a barrier for entry just for me to get my foothold into technology.
It's true that for some roles, the 2-year college degree gives you a foot in the door, but then not having the 4-year degree could potentially hold you back from higher positions. It's like a stepping stone, but then you might hit a wall without the full degree. How would you advise someone who's feeling stuck in college, but also worried about future opportunities? Because that's kind of where I'm at. I'm getting bored with the coursework and thinking I might be able to learn more on my own.
If it feels like it's overwhelming, or if it feels like you need to take a break, most colleges will either let you take a lighter course load, or you can just take a break for a certain period of time. Let's say You can just say, hey, I've got some other obligations. I need to take a break for this semester. I'll be back next semester. And then you can take a break. Now, obviously, you can't live on campus, so you'd have to move off campus unless, you're going to a non-traditional university. You can't be living in a dorm room or anything. But I think overall, taking breaks in life, I used to frown on this, but I found that life is so short. It can get so hectic that you get rolled up in everything that's happening. If you don't find time to take a break, if you don't find time to use your PTO when you're working, if you don't find time maybe to make sure that you're going down the path that you want to go down, it's hard to reverse course then, and you kind of kick yourself for not assessing things and taking that break when you need it. Likewise, if you take a break, you're obviously not finishing college on time. So it delays you. But is that delay impacting? There's a lot of figureheads that have been super successful without a college degree.
Taking a break could give me some time to breathe and reassess my goals. But yeah, it might mean longer before I finish college. But you're saying there are many successful people who didn't complete their degrees, right? So it's not like the end of the world if I don't finish. What do you think about the financial burden though? My parents are spending a lot on my education, and I worry about wasting that investment. What if a break just prolongs the cost without a clear outcome?
I took out student loans. I never wanted anybody to be obligated to pay for my education. And I think that weighed heavily on me, making sure that I didn't waste my own money. I think some people can be wasteful when it's somebody else's money. They view that money a little bit differently. But for me, I wanted to make sure that it was my money on the line. More importantly, when you're weighing the financial obligations of maybe even paying somebody back, the lessons that you learned, how far you've gotten in school, you've learned that. Nobody can take that from you. So it's not like it was money wasted. You just didn't use it to its fullest potential.
Tying your own money to your education. I've got a mix of scholarships and college fund money from my parents, so it's not directly out of my own pocket. This makes me feel a bit complacent, I guess, which perhaps isn't the best motivation. You make a good point about the knowledge I've gained through schooling. Not doing the full 4 years doesn't mean the education and time spent were for nothing. So, even with a delayed graduation, I won't feel like I've wasted it all if I take a break?
I don't think that you will. In fact, a break could potentially help motivate you, make you more rested and eager to jump back into school. I also think that engaging in activities that could lead toward career paths to try to expand your knowledge, experience, and your horizons are probably good as well. Remember, when you graduate college, that just means that they've given you a piece of paper. It's not a guarantee for employment. It is not a guarantee that you'll have a job. It is not a guarantee that anybody will pay you. But if you can jump into a job right now that you like and start making money at it, then you can later on come back to your college degree and make sure that that degree aligns to the skills that you already started building. Because as an employer, from an employer perspective, I can't guarantee what skills you've been taught by your school. And at an entry-level position, I'm assuming I'm going to have to teach you a fair bit.
You really nailed it about the college degree not being a guaranteed ticket to success. It's more about the skills you pick up along the way. And yeah, I've been feeling the burnout and kinda lacking the motivation I once had. The break could give me a chance to recharge and come back with a renewed spirit. I've also been thinking about the job market. Like you said, I might be better off getting some real-world experience, making money, and gaining those practical skills right now. The degree can always come later, once I have a clearer path.
Yeah, and a lot of schools will let you come back to finish up your degree. In fact, I know that some programs specialize in making sure that if you took a break for an extended period of time, that you can go back and get your degree. Remember, life is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Just because you feel like you're wavering at this point doesn't mean that you can't come back and complete this piece later. It's not a linear path for a lot of people. And I want to make sure that you're very clear. People get so upset about college that they think about thoughts that they shouldn't think about. They slide into deep depression. They withdraw from people, and the alternative is even worse than that. You should never do anything to hurt yourself or others because of the situation that you feel like you're obligated in. You always have a choice on what you do.
It's reassuring to know there are often different paths, different time frames to complete college. And you're right, feeling stuck now doesn't mean I can't come back and finish eventually. It's important to keep that in mind and not let it get too dark. I appreciate you bringing this up. So, taking a break, getting some real-world skills and experience might be what I need right now. And who knows, it might even make going back to school feel like a fresh start when I'm ready.
And I won't ever talk bad about going to college or about getting a college degree. Those are things that are important. Even if it never helps you in your career, the sheer accomplishment of getting that college degree is something special. But it's not the end all be all of this world. And I think people really put too much onto it as if it's the make or break. There are so many successful people that either only have 2-year degrees or no college degrees, that you've learned these lessons that college is supposed to teach you in life. It's almost like college is supposed to fast forward you in life to have a minimum level of knowledge, but you can still gain that minimum level of knowledge just through doing things and experience.
I completely agree that I can gain that minimum level of knowledge outside college. Life experiences and self-driven learning count for a lot, if not more. Talking and thinking this through with you has been super helpful. Thank you for bringing this perspective into the conversation.
So, I would like to know what you are planning on doing now that we've had this discussion.
After our talk, I feel more confident about giving myself a break. I think I'll spend about a semester or two just focusing on practical skills, maybe do some odd jobs, or even look for entry-level positions. I'll try to find a way to give my parents a little back for their investment. I don't feel good about it all being for nothing. Then, with a clearer head, I can decide if going back to college makes sense, or if I found a different path that suits me better.
I want to add one more thing. As somebody that has found success, you should never give up. And more importantly, you should always find a way to give back. There are always people out there that not only need words of encouragement, but could also use a helping hand. Remember that as you become a leader, as you become somebody that's experienced and looked up to, it's your job, and I feel like it's your obligation to remember that you need to also give other people chances, that you need to also help people out, that you should also give back, because a world without people doing those things is a very bleak world indeed.
You're absolutely right. Giving up isn't an option. And giving back, being a helping hand, that's what turns success into something truly meaningful. Remembering to uplift others and pass on the chances and help you've received, that's the real measure of success. I'll keep this in mind as I move forward, whether it's in my career or simply in how I can support and inspire others along their journeys. Thank you for this important reminder.
Thank you. I appreciate having this conversation with you. I think this will be super helpful, not only for you, but for everybody out there. Anybody that's listening, that's come into this question. And just so you know, if you are listening right now, what we've talked about, the decision that is made right now, it does not necessarily reflect the decision that you should make. Your life is your own journey, and you are responsible for what you do and the decisions that you make. So just take some time and make sure you're thinking about it and making the right decision.
Thanks for mentioning that. You're right. Everyone's path is unique, and the decisions they make should be based on their own circumstances and goals. This conversation has been valuable, not just for me, but for anyone else facing similar dilemmas, and I hope it sparks some reflection and thought in others. Thanks again for helping me think through this. I'm gonna really take time to reflect before I make any decisions.
All right. Do you have any more questions?
Thanks for asking. I have one more thing I want to run by you. It's about the practicality of taking this break. How should I go about informing my parents? I know they've invested a lot, and I don't want to appear ungrateful for their support. Any advice on how to approach this conversation?
Wow, that's a tough one. Do me a favor, rephrase that question, but slightly differently.
How can I explain to my parents that taking a break from college is a thought-out decision and not a hasty choice? I want them to understand that I value their investment in my education, but I also need some time to reassess and gather skills outside the college curriculum. Any tips on how to have that conversation without coming across as ungrateful or dismissive of their support?
Wow, I think the only true way to have this discussion with them is to first start by opening up and talking from their point. Try to see things through their eyes and make sure that you're starting with that when discussing this with them. So, for example, you should say, Mom and Dad, I know how much money and support and help that you've given me while I've been at school, but I need to have an important conversation with you because I think I need a little bit of a break. I'm not saying that I'm overwhelmed per se, but I definitely want you to know that I need to have a little bit of an outing. Help me with the word here real quick.
How about a breather? A moment to catch my
There you
breath?
go.
That's a good point you make. Showing that I've thought about this from their perspective and acknowledged their support could really soften the blow. And I do need to be specific that it's not something I'm doing out of laziness or lack of effort, but more like a strategic pause to regroup and gain some real-world experience, you know?
Absolutely. 100% being empathetic and making sure that you have weighed your parents' decisions and obligations and support will help you to get their support in this taking a break. I think what they're going to do is probably pressure you to make sure that this is just a temporary break and that you go back to school full time after you've been able to work a little bit. However, I think working a little bit in your given field will also help you to have the experience, or at least start gaining the experience, so that the education that's being taught to you helps to kind of put together what you're learning. It's almost like a puzzle. You need to make sure that you see it from both perspectives. And sometimes school doesn't do a good job of teaching you how these things fit into life, but life will give you these problems. And so you can't necessarily see the problem. They're only giving you the answers. So what this work experience will do is they'll give you the problems. And then when you go back to school, you'll be given the answers to solve those problems. And then that'll make the big picture and it'll fill in those gaps. And that's actually a perspective that a lot of people miss. A lot of school is just regurgitating facts, and it's not building the big picture in your mind so you have a comprehensive understanding of the problems that you will face and the answers that are typically chosen. Remember, choosing the same answer as what you're taught in school isn't always the right path either. It just is the preferred path.
Like, school teaches the answers, but real-life problems fill in those blanks and make it all click. I really hope my parents see it that way too. You're right that they might worry about the break being too long or me not going back fully, but hopefully, seeing it as a way to get more hands-on experience and apply what I've learned might make them more open to the idea. Now I just gotta work on how to actually say it to them.
Well, let's walk through that. What would you like to pretend that you are saying to them right now? How would you word this to at least open the discussion for dialogue?
Okay, deep breath. I'd open with something like, Mom, Dad, I really appreciate everything you've done for me. It means the world. But there's something we need to talk about. I'm thinking seriously about taking a break from college for a while. And I'd explain my reasons, stressing that it's not something I'm taking lightly. I'd want them to know that I'm not trying to escape responsibility or waste their investment, but I feel like I need this time to grow and learn in my own way. How does that sound?
I think that sounds great. I think an emphasis on being respectful and an emphasis on empathy will help this dialogue to its hopeful conclusion where your parents are supportive of the break that you want to take, and also mentioning that school is giving you the answers, but that real life will show you the problems. And so stepping back into school a little bit later will help to fill out the bigger picture. I think an emphasis on all of that will be the best strategy in that conversation that you're going to have.
Yeah, I think showing my gratitude and stressing the potential benefits of the break are going to be vital. I know my parents just want the best for me, and hearing that I'm still committed to my education and career growth could reassure them. I'll keep your pointers about explaining the school life connection in mind. It's like having real-world experience will enhance what I learn in college and give me a better understanding. Alright, here's hoping they see it the way we do. Thanks for helping me get my thoughts together. I feel somewhat better prepared for the conversation ahead.
No problem. Do you have any other questions?
I think I'm all set for now. You've given me a lot of great advice and a better idea of how to tackle this. Once I've had the talk with my parents, I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks again for your time and for being so understanding.
No problem. Good luck.
I'll give you an update after the talk. Hopefully, it all goes better than I expect. Fingers crossed.
Sounds good. Bye.
I spoke with my parents last night, and things didn't go as badly as I thought. They were surprised but willing to consider my proposal. I think the way I explained everything, emphasizing my commitment to continuing my education and the benefits of some real-world experience, really helped. They're gonna need some time to wrap their heads around it, but ultimately they want what's best for me, even if it doesn't fit their plans exactly. They just don't want me to lose focus and end up wasting time, and I get that. So at least it's a start.
Yeah, and realistically, they probably understood in the moment, but people get wrapped up in pride and people get wrapped up in emotions and they get carried away. So definitely giving them time to reflect, to see things kind of from your viewpoint, will probably be the best path. And I'm sure very soon in the future, a more meaningful discussion can occur. And a lot of people think that discussions are one and done things, but discussions are constantly evolving human social paths where we continually navigate the social landscape to be able to hopefully come to an agreement or to an advantage. But when you're talking to family, you can't replace your family. You're not going to disown your family, or at least the common family doesn't disown their family. So just making sure to respect boundaries, be empathetic, and to maintain respectfulness will go a huge way in any discussions with your family.
I can definitely see that emotions like pride and protectiveness played a part in how my parents reacted initially, and perhaps they still need time to process this. But like you mentioned, discussions aren't one and done. They evolve. Now that the idea is out there, future conversations will be more grounded. And you're right, even with family, respectfulness and empathy are key. We may disagree, but it's about communicating that disagreement and finding common ground rather than burning bridges.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That was so well said that I don't think it could be emphasized more than the way that you said it. I think that is absolutely crucial moving forward. And the next step is identifying the break that you're going to take, continuing to stay motivated, and making sure that it's a path that aligns with what you want to do career-wise. We don't want to spend this time goofing off and playing games and being unstructured. Maintain your structure, maintain your work ethic, and continue on this path of creative learning. Remember, work learning is almost just as hard and can be sometimes a little bit more stressful than school learning. But work learning sometimes is the best way for people to learn. I myself am one of those people. A lot of what I learned, a lot of what I know came from working. And I have a massive amount of experience. In fact, I have a 20-year college degree with the amount of experience that I have. I could be anybody else with anything less. I've had experiences that nobody could have had. Some of them amazing, some of them tragic, but they've built me into the person I am.
You're absolutely right that staying motivated while I'm on this break is crucial. I won't be goofing off, that's for sure. I've actually got a few plans to keep myself engaged and grow my skills. And I completely agree that work learning can be incredibly valuable. The hands-on experiences and real-world lessons are invaluable. I'm glad you shared your journey. It's good to know that work experience can count just as much, if not more, than education. I'll keep that in mind as I navigate this period.
Do you have any other questions for me?
Actually, I do have one more question. You've talked about the importance of maintaining a structured routine while on this break. I want to make sure I'm not just doing the same things every day and getting complacent. Any tips on how to mix it up and keep myself challenged? Oh, and just to update you, my parents are coming around to the idea after our conversation. They've agreed to give it further thought. Thanks for helping me through this.
Wow, maintaining structure on a break can be very difficult. That is what sets potential business owners and future leaders apart from people that may not have that level of ethic. Remember, if I was to quote some pretty famous people, sometimes you have to eat, sleep, and breathe success. And that means working all the time to further your goals. Some people want to do that, and some people don't. And more importantly, some people are motivated to do that, and some people lack that motivation. I would say one good thing is create a schedule. Mentally, agree on a schedule that you would like to keep, and keep that schedule. If your plan is to work out for 15 minutes a day, work out for 15 minutes a day. If your plan is to eat breakfast or lunch or dinner at a certain time, eat those meals at those times. If you're wanting to work 8 hours, but you're doing contracted work, make sure that you work those 8 hours. Fit it into your schedule, make a schedule, and make it work. That is the secret to a lot of successful people. And I know a lot of successful people, and they are the exact same way. You have to be scheduled. You have to have structure.
Thanks for the inspiration and the practical advice. Staying disciplined and creating a schedule has been a constant struggle for me, but I know it's key to success. Hearing from successful people like yourself reaffirms that importance. I'll be sure to make a schedule and stick to it as much as I can. This break is an opportunity to build self-discipline as much as it is to grow my skills, perhaps more so.
The schedule is the key to doing exactly what you need in the future, and I wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors. Please do me a favor and let me know how that works out.
I will definitely let you know how things go. Your encouragement means a lot. Thanks again for your time and the insight.
No problem. Do you have any more questions?
Nope, not for now. We've covered it all, I think. I feel much better prepared to tackle this break and make the most of it. Thanks again for everything.
No problem. Good luck.
Thanks. I'll be sure to provide updates as I go. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
All right. Wow. This conversation is not an easy conversation to have. Oh, look, my headphones jacked up my hair. This conversation's not an easy conversation to have. And I think if you want to have a conversation like this and you're going through this problem, reach out to me. I will play an advocate. I will play a pivotal role in pointing out all of the pieces to this puzzle. And it's not an easy puzzle. This is a complex puzzle. But hopefully this conversation provided some meaningful topics for you to consider. And just because the AI chose to take a break doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you should do. Although a lot of people have taken breaks and gone back. It just depends on what your situation is, your university, and what you discuss with your parents. They might help you see it a different way. They might show you the path is really going back to school and doing your best and finishing like you're supposed to. I'm not really sure. Everybody's life is different. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you liked what you saw so far, go ahead and click on one of the other videos down low or subscribe and follow for updates on our channel. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.